I was recently going through a passage of scripture that is probably very familiar to a lot of us. It's from Matthew chapter 25, and it's the middle parable. Jesus tells three parables in that chapter. The middle parable is what is normally and commonly called the parable of the talents. And it's the story, as you might know, of a rich man going away and leaving his wealth in the stewardship of three different servants. I want us to look at that in a slightly different way, and I hope you'll stay with me here on CITAM Church Online. My name is Kwame Rubadiri. In this parable of the talents, Jesus gives 5 talents to one of the servants, 2 talents to a second servant, and 1 talent to the third of the servants of this man. And he goes away. He doesn't tell them how long he's going to be away. He doesn't even tell them what he expects them to do. They figure out that because of their relationship with him, they are to be productive. Now, the way the man gave or divided up his wealth, giving 5 talents, 2 and 1, was because he knew the ability of each of those servants. He knew that the 5-talent servant would be able to do far more with what had been entrusted to him than the one who had only been given 1 talent. I found something interesting about the use of that word talent. I don't think Jesus used it casually, because a talent in biblical times was the equivalent, 1 talent was the equivalent of 20 years of wages. So it was much more than just the money. It was actually the amount of time that one would be living and what your life would be worth. And so when the man is saying, I'm giving 5 talents to a person who has that ability, it's as if he's saying, I know that in you, and given the amount of time that you have, you could probably fulfill or finish 5 different lifetimes. You could actually do more in the short space of time, the few years you have, than somebody else who had only been given 1. My challenge to us today is that because God knows that we're able to do far more than we could imagine in ourselves, we may only see ourselves accomplishing something in a couple of months, maybe in a year, but not a whole 20 years, let alone 100 years, which was the worth of the 5-talent servant. My hope and prayer is that we would steward our lives. We would allow God to develop in us a desire and a willingness to do far more than we actually imagine for ourselves. God knows that you are able, and He's given you the ability to do far, far more than perhaps you think at this time. So, what are your talents, and how are you allowing God to use them through you?